This video sucks to make. I knew this was coming. I didn't think this was going to come from Nintendo, but I knew eventually we would get to this point. For those who haven't heard, the Switch 2 will be $450, and that's before tariffs, which on its own is not really a big deal to me. I mean, I'm not going to be buying one anytime soon, but we've seen high prices for consoles before. The issue for me is the price of the games. Nintendo has stated that some games will cost $80 and up to $90 for some territories outside of the United States. Now, I know some of you will blame the tariffs for these prices, and I mean that might have a really small part to do with it, but it's mostly because the cost to produce these games has gone up, and the value of money has gone down. I'm not going to give an economics lesson here, but it's pretty obvious to see. Just look at a price of a home that was made 30 years ago and what it was sold for, and compare it to its current value, or the cost of a basket of groceries from 1995 and compare it to today. Now back to the topic at hand. The price of games have seesawed over the years. During the 80s and 90s, the price of games would usually vary between $40 to about $120. This would vary from console to console, but most systems had games that fell somewhere within this price range. The 6th generation is where we finally saw consistency in pricing between the 3 major manufacturers, where the industry was set at a $50 standard. Now, some games were a little bit more pricey, but those were few and far between. This standard pricing would jump to $60 in the 7th generation, and stay that way during the 8th as well. The excuse for these price increases were the cost of producing HD textures in ever-expanding worlds. However, between DLC and special editions, the default price was rarely ever the final price for the full experience. The 9th generation brought another price increase, moving the standard up to $70. The price increase still came with DLC and even more expensive special editions. Nintendo's price increase is right in line with the trend of the industry, but it seems that Nintendo is skipping the $70 game and going straight for the gusto. This is before we even discuss how some Switch 2 cartridges won't even have a game on the cart, and instead will purely contain a license. They don't even want to give us a broken 1.0 version of the game. Why even buy a physical copy? What are you getting out of it? And honestly, I think that's the point. Nintendo is trying to pressure gamers into going fully digital. They are doing the absolute, and I can't express how much heavy lifting the word absolute is doing here in the statement. They are literally doing the absolute minimum for gamers who prefer physical copies. So what does this mean for gamers? First and foremost, the rest of the industry is watching. Microsoft, Sony, and third-party publishers. Second, this is going to make the $100 GTA 6 more realistic. At first, I thought all the rumblings of $100 GTA 6 was nothing more than wish casting, and I thought maybe Take-Two would only go as high as $80. But now, I'm not too sure. If these Switch 2 games sell well, I don't see anything discouraging Rockstar from charging gamers an arm and a leg to play the new Grand Theft Auto. And it's not just Rockstar and Take-Two, I expect to see all AAA publishers to get on board. I'm not quite sure how the indies will respond. I mean, indie games have sort of been underpriced for a long time, but I don't think you're going to see a dramatic increase in that realm of the industry. And then regarding DLC and add-ons, I don't think anything is going to change there. They might also begin to get a bit more expensive, but I still think we're going to see a slew of DLC add-ons to the major releases. I'm really hoping we don't see a price increase mid-generation. If so, I'm not really sure how the AAA industry will justify this expense, as games will still be the same. Games in this generation are going to continue to rely on frame generation and upscaling. The worlds and scope of the games probably aren't going to get any bigger either, so I don't see Microsoft and Sony really pushing for the $90 game yet. As for Nintendo, we're going to need to see how gamers respond. This will either be a huge payday for the company, or we're looking at another Wii U situation. Currently, I'm not interested. I already have a Wii, where I can play all of my GameCube games. The current line of exclusives aren't really doing it for me either, and I refuse to pay for these quality mode patches for original Switch games. My feelings might change a bit once I see more of the new Donkey Kong game, as I'm a huge fan of Donkey Kong 64. But at potentially $80, it's going to be a very hard sell for me. If anyone has any input on this, please leave a comment down below. I'm really interested in everyone else's perspective on this. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your time.